After motherhood, you look in the mirror and the reflection feels unfamiliar. You tilt your head, kind of squint a little, hoping that the woman staring back at you suddenly will look like the woman you remember. The one who could pull on a pair of jeans without thinking and still look good. Who didn't have to navigate the softness, the curves, and the shadows that she doesn't recognize. You pull on some jeans that used to fit like a glove, but now they won't get past your thighs. You tug, you shift your weight, you hold your breath for a second longer than you should. And still, they don't budge. You stand in your closet surrounded by clothes that whisper who you used to be. The dress from that one date night that you felt beautiful in, that blazer from the job that you actually left to be able to stay home with your kids, the top that you bought on a whim because you felt bold and fun that day. But now they hang there like artifacts in a museum from a whole different life. And in that quiet, shame can start to settle in, get comfortable. And then you start to wonder, what do I wear now when I don't even recognize who I am anymore? No one prepares you for how motherhood can transform your body. They tell you about the sleepless nights and the feedings, and they hand you swaddles and bottles and advice. But few women will pull you aside and say, your body's gonna change. Your shape will change. Your relationship with the mirror will change too. Stretch marks, softness, wider hips, a rib cage that sits a little differently, a belly that doesn't lie flat. And these aren't just physical, it's emotional. It's deeply emotional. And you remember how quickly you used to get ready. You remember what it feels like to zip a dress without wondering if it's actually gonna close. You remember feeling at home in your own skin, in who you are. And part of you aches for that bit of ease. So you keep those pre-baby jeans tucked away on the top shelf or in the back of the drawer. And you tell yourself, maybe one day when I get my body back, I'll be able to wear these. You imagine the imaginary finish line when you've lost the weight, when the scale shows a certain number, when you can prove to yourself that you are disciplined again. But deep down, in the places you don't often say out loud, you know that you are not the same woman anymore. You have carried life. You have labored physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You have walked through nights where your body stayed awake for a child who could not sleep. You have poured yourself out over and over and over again. Of course, you are not the same. And that realization can feel like a loss of what's familiar, loss of control, loss of the woman that you used to know. But what if the goal was never to get back to where you once were? Because what if God has never actually asked you to return to a version of yourself that no longer actually exists? What if the invitation has always been forward into the woman you are becoming? Because you have become someone new. And that version of you deserves to be honored, not hidden. She deserves clothes that fit the life she actually lives right now. She deserves outfits that supports her calling, that don't punish her body. She deserves to feel comfortable when she kneels to pick up clothes, confident when she walks into church, steady when she looks in the mirror before a long day. So let me say this clearly. Clothes are meant to fit you. You were never meant to shrink and squish to fit into them. The number on the tag does not get to sit in the judge's seat of your life. It does not get to define your worthiness to be seen, loved, or respected. Your value does not rise and fall with your waistline, your jean size, or the shape of your stomach when you sit down. Motherhood does not diminish your beauty, it redefines it. It adds depth, story, strength. There are laugh lines from joy, not just tiredness. There are marks on your skin that testify, I carried life. There is a new steadiness in your eyes that did not exist before you walked through what you have walked through. And style, it isn't about hiding your body, it's about honoring it. It's about saying with your clothing, I respect the woman that I am today. I honor this story that God is writing through me. I remember the day that I finally stopped waiting to get my body back. So one afternoon, I stood in my closet holding a pair of jeans that used to fit perfectly. They were my one day jeans. The ones I kept as a goal, as a reminder, a measuring stick. I told myself that they were there to inspire me, to motivate me, to keep working out, to try to get back to where I once was. But as I stood there, this fabric, denim fabric in my hands, I realized I'm not inspired by these jeans anymore. They made me feel small, but not in a size way, but in a spiritual way. These jeans were not a goal, they were like a shrine to a version of myself that I had silently decided that this tinier pre mom version of me was more worthy than the woman I was now as a mom. So I took a breath. I stopped and I folded them one last time. I let them go. Not in anger and not in defeat, but as an act of agreement with God. I am allowed to be new. I am a new creation in God. I went to the store and I bought clothes that fit this version of me, the woman that God is shaping right now. Jeans that don't dig in when I sat on the floor with my kids. Tops that skimmed my shape without demanding that I hide who I am. Pieces that made me feel capable and present, not like I was pretending to be someone I no longer was the first time I put them on. I actually didn't feel smaller. I felt seen. I felt like I could finally see me. And I wasn't dressing for the woman that I used to be. I wasn't trying to impress that version of me anymore. I was honoring the woman that God has me walking towards, the woman that I am becoming. And that one shift, simple, physical act of releasing what no longer fit and choosing clothing that did actually fit. It changed how I showed up in every single area of my life. I spoke differently. I carried myself differently. I started being so much slower in the way I wasn't trying to, come on, kids, let's go faster. And a lot of times with being a mom, you could feel like that. Like, come on, you aren't doing this fast enough. You're not going quick enough. You're not doing the task I asked you to do as quickly as I needed you to do it, right? And I walked into rooms with a little more peace instead of quietly bracing for judgment or chaos with my kids. Because when you clothe yourself with intention, you're not saying, look at me. You're saying, look at what God is doing in me. You are coming into agreement with the truth that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Not only in the body that you had before motherhood, but in the body that you have today, right now. So if you've been standing in front of your closet feeling like nothing fits, not just your body, but for your identity, who you are, I want you to know that you are not alone. You are not broken for feeling this way. You are not shallow because clothes actually matter. You are a woman with a calling, and how you show up for that calling matters. And I want to invite you into a space that was created for this exact moment. So, inside the Style Empowerment Society, we walk this journey together. We don't just talk about outfits, we talk about the women inside them. So, inside the Style Empowerment Society, you will learn how to rebuild confidence from the inside out so you are not trying to chase approval every time you get dressed, but you're standing on truth of who you are every single time you get dressed. So you will also learn how to dress for the woman you are becoming, not the one that you've outgrown, so that way your wardrobe supports this next season of life instead of keeping you holding on to the last one that wasn't working out too great. So you will also learn how to release the guilt of wasting money or letting go and begin to see your wardrobe more as stewardship and not punishment. You will also learn how to rediscover the quiet joy of getting ready, not on, like, even on those ordinary days at home, because your life is worth showing up for, not just in those special occasions, but daily, mundane life. Just being at home and still taking care of yourself, your temple. You will also learn how to connect your faith and your style so that way getting dressed becomes a daily act of agreement with who God says you are. So this community, it is free to join, and it's designed to be your first safe step back toward dressing with purpose again. Not from pressure, but from peace. Because you are not behind, you are not lost, you are becoming who God wants you to be. And you deserve to be dressed for that woman that you're becoming. Not someday, when you've earned it, but now in the middle of the mess and the miracle of your life. So join the Style Empowerment Society today. Click the link down below to join for free, because style is more than what you wear. It is how you step into your God-given purpose. I will see you all in the next one.